Hey everybody, welcome back to the LoFi podcast. We're doing a special Christmas edition podcast.
We got sleigh bells.
Hopefully, it all works out. There's a chimney.
Yeah, something
Crackling. Oh, there's a fireplace behind Caleb somewhere, maybe.
It's getting warm.
If there isn't,
you'll
know,
not.
something
Frank's
went
an
really
asshole.
bad.
This is stupid.
My back is all warm, I think.
I think
It's
a fucking like dinosaur.
Joining me today, we got Rick.
Yay, it's me.
And we got Caleb.
Hey, how's it
Caleb.
going? How's it going?
How you going, man?
It's going good.
I mean, what is your shirt?
So it's a llama.
This is
It's a llama?
It's a llama.
That is not a fucking llama.
It's a llama. It's got a little
That
hat
is
on.
a polar bear.
No, it's a llama, man.
Oh,
No, that's a bear, right?
It might be a bear, dude.
Maybe it's a bear.
That's a bear.
Damn.
Whatever. It's a bear.
Damn.
I guess it makes more sense, right?
Return it.
Let me
Papa
ask you.
bear.
Did
Makes
you
more
get
sense.
it?
Papa bear.
Makes more sense.
Not llama bear.
Did you get it because you thought it was a llama?
No, I got it.
Oh, okay. All right.
What's yours?
Mine is. Oh, wait, I gotta move my lights here. I don't know if it can just come off. Mine's a reindeer. This is. Oh, I gotta get more. There you go. Mine's a reindeer. It says Slayer.
Slayer.
Because on the bottom, it says reindeer blood. Oh, there's my belly. So it's a metal Christmas sweater.
Where did you get such...
And mine's Pikachu. Yay!
Yeah, Pikachu.
On brand, because you've been
He's
playing Pokemon.
That's right.
It's cute.
Episode 3 coming out pretty soon,
That's
Caleb.
right.
I'm in that episode.
Yeah, you're in that
Yeah,
episode.
you're in that.
Yeah, we'll see if there's video in that episode or not.
No, you know
No,
what? I liked
I
this
mean, there's
episode
video.
2
Oh, yeah,
without
that's
it.
right, that's right.
What?
I liked episode 2 where it was just y'all talking.
Yeah, right?
I think that's what we were
Did you
doing.
like that better than...
I think I did.
Okay. Because we were thinking...
That's what we were doing.
That's probably what we're going to continue to do,
Okay.
possibly.
Yeah. I liked it.
All right, so let's less focus, more focus on the game.
Yeah.
So that's probably what we're going to do. Anyway, Caleb! How you been, man? Everything good? I feel like I haven't seen you since the last podcast. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Oh, God. No, don't do that again. We did that last time.
Good. Next week is my last week of school.
Yeah.
I'll be off for 2 weeks.
I saw you were showing Mandalorian to some kids.
Yeah, because we did our big Christmas program.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I had nothing else to do today. So we watched like the first 3 episodes of Mandalorian.
Nice. And you just watched that for like every class? Because there's like 2
Well,
or
no,
3?
it was only like so many kids. So it was like
Okay.
all the kids that were there were there. So
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
it was whatever.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
It's cool,
So
man.
it's good. It's good.
Yeah,
It's so interesting to watch it with like younger kids who don't have the history of Star Wars and know all of it, or maybe they've just kind of binged it a little bit, so they're not like I feel like we've lived with Star Wars, right?
Yeah,
We've
yeah,
talked
yeah.
about Star Wars all our lives,
Yeah.
but they haven't, and they're or some of them are getting to that age where they're talking about it a lot, but they haven't like lived it, seen it all of in theaters.
So they're like,
What's a midichlorian? Mr. Young?
No, they get confused. Like,
No one knows, okay, kid?
they get
Alright, that shit's made up!
They get
Mr.
confused on events that happen in the films. Like, wait, if this happens, how come Rey is here? I'm like, no, it's a different movie.
Mr.
Like-
Young? Why is Baby Yoda a baby in this one?
Yeah. They're like, why is it a baby? I'm like, it's not actually Yoda. It's just the same species.
mm-hmm.
Like, but I thought it was before Revenge of the Sith. I'm like, no, stop reading articles. Stop reading those theories, because that's what they do. They read a bunch of theory articles and stuff, and so it's like, no.
Wait, what grades are these?
Well, the grades I had was like 5th through 8th.
Okay.
So I need to go a little older in my voice then.
You're pretty accurate.
Yeah, you're pretty
All right. All right, good. Glad that
It's
works
okay
out
size
then.
these days, right?
Yeah, glad that works out then.
It worked out.
Cool. Hey, Caleb. By any chance, while you were sitting at your desk watching The Mandalorian,
What?
did you get a chance to watch, say, some headlines?
I'm glad you said headlines, because I was going to say Evangelion.
No. That's coming later.
I saw 2 whole
was gonna
episodes.
say,
almost 3 whole episodes.
Okay, cool. We'll get to those
Pretty
I
later.
got to like 5 or 6.
Yeah. Pretty interesting. Pretty interesting.
Cool.
And I kind of did all those in like one sesh too, which is great. And then,
Oh, good.
Yeah.
We'll talk about how we're gonna go through those later.
I'll talk about it now.
Yeah.
I got some headlines. A lot of different things that happened since we last talked.
What you got, man? 'Cause I got some of my own.
I'm gonna, jump around a lot of places.
All right, let's do it. I'm ready. Ready for your jumps.
Did y'all happen to see 2 trailers that came out recently? One being Wonder Woman 84.
Yes,
I did not.
1984, actually. You didn't watch it?
No,
I wasn't gonna say it because I thought you'd seen it already.
no, I didn't want to watch it.
You actively didn't watch it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so then that's okay. Did you watch it?
I watched it.
What'd you think?
Well, obviously, there's the one question.
What? Oh,
Why is he there?
well, you kind of know, right?
No,
No?
dude, fill me in. I don't care. Tell me.
Chris Pine
Yeah.
is back.
Okay.
He's back, but
He's in the trailer.
and he's like,
He, like, died
actually
in
the
the-
same character.
Yeah, he died in the last one.
Yeah, you
Died.
saw
Did we
Wonder
see his
Woman.
body?
No, he's alive. He's walking, talking.
I know, but did we see his body?
No, but he
Oh,
blew up
God.
in the plane.
Well, right, but he could have. Oh, I'm rejected, and you just saw the plane, but you
I
didn't
mean,
see my
that's-
little body in the
I-
nighttime.
Maybe
I
that's
don't
what's gonna
think. I
happen.
don't
I
think. No,
mean-
because he's the same age.
What if the Flash?
Oh.
What if the Flash went and saved him?
No, because I think they're doing their own things now. They're not connected.
How he runs?
yeah,
I run
Well, that's
fast.
why he runs in the show. He's like, he has like all this stuff behind him.
yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like that little jog.
Yeah.
yeah. So,
Just everything's so fast.
yeah, because it takes place obviously in the 80s now, right? They fast forward.
84.
84. Okay, so 1984, right? The last one took place in 1945.
45?
Yeah,
World
right.
War
Because it
One.
kind of ended.
Yeah,
World
World
War
War
One.
One,
Oh,
right?
Just kidding. World War
Yeah.
One. So then
So that was
Even
further
further
back.
back.
Yeah,
What was that 30s?
20s.
20s.
Oh man, World War One was the
1917-ish.
20s? Damn. Okay.
So then, okay, so he's same character, same age, and he's back in this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't know why yet.
Okay.
And it's like an opposite fish out of water.
Man.
Where she's teaching him stuff now.
I don't know too much about DC lore to be like, oh, it's probably this guy who's fucking
Well, yeah,
the bad
that's
guy
why-
who's bringing them back, or whatever.
That's why I joked
Well,
about
it's
it. But,
Cheetah.
Cheetah's gonna be the main villain.
Yeah, they've announced
Yeah,
that.
played by
Kristen Wiig.
Kristen Wiig.
Ooh, that sounds cool.
The trailer, the music choice. What was it again? I remember I liked it a lot though.
It's one of those 80s songs.
Yeah, I was like, was it Depeche Mode? No, it was Blue Monday.
Blue Monday.
Oh, no
Blue
shit.
Monday's playing
Nice.
like a cool version of it. I liked it, man.
Not the origin
Good,
version?
good style to it.
I mean, it's cool. I'm not hyped for it, though. I don't
What
know.
really?
Yeah.
Well, okay, but
Oh, well, there's a certain scene I thought was super cool.
yeah, I
Where
mean,
she's riding the lightning.
I as I'm watching it, I think to myself, I'm like, it doesn't look like a tropey commercial, I guess, for a trailer for a thing. Like it looked good,
Okay.
you know.
You think Wonder Woman's gonna do good again?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. Same director, come back,
Yes.
right? I think it'll do good.
Okay.
It looks fine. What about the
what
new
was the other trailer?
Ghostbusters movie?
Yes,
I saw that trailer.
I
I saw
did
that
see
trailer.
that after.
What'd you think of that?
I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought it was
want to
kind of cool.
expand on why you liked it?
Big Ghostbusters fan?
Yeah, I like
As big
Ghostbusters.
as Chris?
Probably not that big. I mean, I like Ghostbusters. I liked it as a kid,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't say I'm like super into the lure too much.
Mhm.
I think it's
I
interesting.
wish I knew more.
I think it's
wish I knew
interesting
more.
to know to think about that. There's people who like love Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
It's not just Chris. There's a lot of people who actually just love it.
Yeah.
Because I really liked it as a kid. I think it's a
Yeah,
great movie.
I liked it as a kid.
It's
It
a
was a great
great
movie.
rewatchable movie.
I mean, I remember watching the cartoons also,
I
man.
mean, Bill Murray's fantastic.
He's
Bill Murray's
fantastic.
fucking
So
great.
good.
Yeah.
So I saw it, and I felt like at first I was like, I'm gonna be disappointed. There's a whole movie about kids, and it still kind of feels like that's maybe most of it.
You think they're trying to? I mean, like the whole Stranger Thing kind of.
A little bit. But like as I saw the trailer, I'm like,
where it's like, let's get kid actors and put them in these.
Yeah,
like,
also
really
because
good-
Finn Wolfhard is the only kid actor who can play an 80s type of kid.
I know, right?
Playing for like all of the...
I felt like once you bring kids into a movie like that, like, oh, this movie's for kids. But I didn't feel that way.
But, yeah, the other thing,
it
too-
looked
Little
like they were
felt
gonna
fine.
have their like
Felt fine.
mentors and stuff.
The other thing, too, is that they're a little bit older. They're like teens.
Yeah.
So that's why I was a little more okay with it. Like, if they're like
Yeah.
kids, I'd be like, oh.
Yeah.
But they're like teens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if they were
Like,
Goonie
okay.
kids, then I would say that's a little too,
Yeah, or like Stranger Things kids, kind of
Yeah.
like that age.
I mean, even that's fine. You know, I didn't know.
No, I don't want to be that young.
But I liked that Paul Rudd was in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like secretly hoping. I was like, what if at the end of the movie they're like going to start a new Ghostbusters and Paul Rudd just happens to be one of the new Ghostbusters? That'd be fucking cool.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I don't know, unless they're just going to follow these kids being the new Ghostbusters. I mean, that's the
Let's
plan
use the guy
here,
in the
right?
chair,
You're gonna wanna jumpstart a new like generation,
Franchise, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
of
Well, I
stuff.
guess, yeah.
Do you do it with these kids, or do you do it with like, I don't know, these kids are just kind of beginning, but like Paul
Well,
Rudd
okay,
takes
so
over?
I'm assuming they're gonna have like the original cast do cameo, right?
Yes, they are. They're all of them. Are
So
good
they're gonna
cameos.
they're gonna like, I'm assuming like pass the torch kind of thing,
Mhm,
right?
yeah.
And then so I'm assuming that's what they're going
Yeah,
for.
maybe right.
Yeah.
But they don't have to pass towards kids. What if it's the Paul Rudd and someone else?
What if he's a part of the kids?
True.
That'd be cool. Different dynamic.
Right.
Again,
What if,
I told
It's a
Chris.
mix between adults and kids.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah,
cool.
that'd be pretty cool.
Just mix it up.
Our buddy Chris also came up with a theory that he read online
Mhm.
because it's called Afterlife.
Uh-huh.
And we're talking about the old ones making cameos.
Yeah.
You kind of put two and two together. Maybe CGI Harold Ramis comes back somehow, right? Maybe,
To like save the day, maybe.
or I don't know,
You-
or to
would that
impart
be
some
too
kind
cheesy?
of wisdom.
Would that be
That'd be
too
too much.
Yeah, that'd be too much.
That'd be too much.
Like,
You're thinking like
make him the sage, or
like-
make him the savior at the end, where his
Obi-Wan.
ghost saves them or something.
or he just tells them something
Where
important.
they're
to
like,
make
oh
it into
no,
the-
we can't. And then he's like, his spirit
He's
comes
there on
and he's
the
like,
side.
oh, he does a Goku, right? Where he's just like, and then it's like,
Oh my god!
it makes the lightning stronger. They destroy the bad guy.
Yeah, I didn't have that in mind.
I mean,
I just
the whole Harry Potter
Yeah,
thing
let's
where
say
they're
the
like,
Harry Potter too.
"Yeah,
Go, Harry, we got this."
We got it. Oh, yeah. The kid, she's gonna be like, oh,
I know you love
Grandpa,
me.
yeah.
Oh, Grandpa.
A lot of hints and nods to Egon's character there, like when they were walking into that barn or whatever it is.
yeah.
He says in the movie, the first one, I collect mold and spores, and that's all that's in there and
Yeah.
stuff. So, definitely a lot of nods and Easter eggs to the original stuff. So, the other thing was that, I mean, because this is probably going to get into what we've been watching later, but I did happen to see the movies that made us.
Oh, I've been meaning to watch that.
There's a Ghostbusters episode.
Yeah.
You mean
and
the toys that made us, or the movies that made us?
there's
Oh,
one
cool.
like that, but it's about the movies that made us.
Oh, I didn't know
It
that.
has Die Hard. It has
awesome.
Home Alone, Ghostbusters,
Dirty Dancing.
Dirty Dancing. It's only 4 episodes. Those are the only 4. They're about an hour long. We'll get into that stuff a little bit later. But Dan Aykroyd there was kind of saying, because he's the one who wrote the original script and stuff, and how it revolves around like his family and stuff, because his parents were like into that kind of stuff.
The supernatural stuff?
Yeah, they're like.
Yeah, because I know Dan Aykroyd's like heavily into the occult.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Supernatural shit.
I mean, this is all like his stuff or whatever. And so this, this is basically him kind of continuing that legacy and everything. The farm, apparently, where that takes place is like an actual farm of like where stuff went down. Whether, I don't know if it was like ghostly stuff or like, where that kind of, let's say, ghostly cult or whatever, kind of stuff happened. A lot of it is centered around like him and his family and just, being into the paranormal and stuff like that.
yeah.
So even like the setting, for example, that town and everything was apparently, a big part of it.
That's cool.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those are the 2 trailers we had.
Cool.
You guys seen the new Jumanji?
No, I did not see it.
Trailer?
No, the movie came out.
Oh.
This week.
Did you see it?
Yeah, I saw it already.
What'd you
It
think?
was good. It was fun, just like the previous one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you see the previous one?
I did.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was
good.
fun.
I liked it.
So you basically saw Jack Black's last movie, possibly.
Yes, because Jack Black is possibly retiring.
That's right. He's going to focus on a new album, right?
Yes.
That and he
Which
wanted.
makes-
And also he said like he wants to spend more time with the family. He's like,
Mhm.
I already spend a lot of time away from them, and then plus a movie like gives me more time away. So it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you watch his like YouTube channel, it's mostly him at concerts, and it's like
yeah,
Peppered would sometimes be there with the kids, but you
Yeah.
think like, man, you add movies to that mix, like
yeah.
probably barely sees them.
So, but he said like if obviously if a role comes along by Quentin Tarantino, he's like, yeah, sure,
yeah.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
But for the most part, he's like, I'm probably gonna take a break. Which makes sense because I was like, before Jumanji, like I hadn't seen him in a while. I didn't realize.
Yeah.
And I guess we'll probably won't see him in a while.
Yeah.
So.
Which I think is fine. I mean, I bet you'll still see him in his YouTube channel and stuff. Like they're still trying to do that stuff or whatever. Yeah. Which I'm not mad about. I'm like, yeah, he wants to be around his family. He wants to, do gaming with his kids and stuff. Like, let the man have his family.
Yes.
No. These movies. Entertain me, Jack Black. Make me laugh. Funny man.
So that's Jack Black. Jumanji, quick review. It was good.
There was
good.
It was good. It was fun.
What was it? Number
7.
7.
Just like the last one. 7.
Okay.
7. The last one's 7.5. This one's 7.
Okay. There was another trailer that also came out.
What was that?
The Black Widow trailer.
Oh, since we last talked?
Yeah.
It's been so long.
Yeah, it's been a while, Caleb.
My bad.
What do you think, man? Did y'all see it?
I did.
I saw it. Yeah.
Okay. What did y'all think?
I liked it.
Looked cool. I was a little confused in the beginning.
I mean, okay, so they don't really show. At the end there, it's Taskmaster, right?
Well, he's on that little
doing the bow and arrow.
Yeah.
bow and
Yeah,
arrow
that's
thing.
him.
But that's his costume.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like a military-ish
I think so.
costume.
Yeah. I really wanted the hood.
No, he does have a hood.
Face.
Doesn't he kind of have a
Skull
hood?
face, man.
Well, I mean, what
Fucking-
if by the end of it he does
The
change
cowl.
up his outfit?
I
or
mean,
something?
if they even just like cameo, just kind of like tease, like even if it's like, oh, there's the hood and kind of like an Iraq of a uniform, I'd be happy.
Did they show what he looked like in the poster? And he did have like a hood though.
I don't think I saw.
I think one of the first things they released was like a poster on top of the announcement and stuff like that. So I do remember him looking like he had a hood or something. So I'm thinking, because she talks to that other girl who's basically like a blonde Black Widow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking she'll probably take up the Black Widow.
Why?
You think? In comics, she becomes the Black Widow.
Do we need a Black Widow in the Avengers?
I mean,
That was the biggest argument since
she
Avengers.
was a Black Widow in the Avengers, though.
I mean, Black Widow is one of the original members. No,
I don't know. I'm gonna say probably not.
No.
oh, that's Wasp.
Yeah.
Wasp,
Yeah, that's Wasp.
Hawkeye.
No.
We've had this discussion before.
Yeah. Anyways, but she's been part of the Avengers for a good while in the comics too. Part of New Avengers, regular Avengers as well.
Yeah, like it wasn't always.
I just don't feel the need for her.
Yeah.
How much does she
Why?
actually bring to the table? Is what I'm saying.
Well, I think that's what this movie's going to do. It's going to showcase more of her skills and more of her skill set and what she can offer to the team, like not in directly, but kind of show you this is kind of like her arsenal.
Because
it's cool.
She's a super spy, right?
Yeah,
she's
no.
like Nick Fury.
Here's
She's
the
female
thing.
Nick Fury, right?
Yeah.
like,
Go ahead.
Well, no, it's okay. My thing is, like, I just feel like we're a couple years too late for a Black Widow movie, because I kind of don't care
Now that everything
now that
else.
she's, like, dead.
But you don't think that they're going to try and
bring her
use
back?
this to spring something else?
I think that's what they're doing.
Maybe, I guess so.
I mean, so it's like, I mean, I think they know that too,
Yeah.
right? They know that they're coming in with this Black Widow movie a little late.
Yeah.
So best thing to do is, okay, what can we put in this to just hype up the next movie as well?
Makes
Because
sense.
they do that a lot for most of their movies.
Yeah.
Is, this movie is a springboard for the next one.
Yeah, they were setting up for something.
Yeah.
New. So
So it's like they give you, it's like they're like episodes.
Yeah.
I mean,
In TV, yeah. So
what I like-
Black Widows are filler, but there's going to be shit in there that we're going to need
Yeah.
for the next movie.
It's true. That's
Yeah.
a good way to put it.
I think also it's not like this takes place. Oh, it's a Black Widow origin movie or something like that. Like maybe they'll get into a little more, but it takes place during between Civil War and like Endgame and stuff like that. This is after Civil War. Like, or was it before? It's when they go into hiding. Yeah, it's after Civil War. The period. This takes place during that period when her Cap, they all went into hiding.
When Hydra took over,
Right?
right? Is that what you're talking about? Because they went in hiding after Hydra?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
After Civil War, right? The Avengers are broken up.
Yeah,
And so
Well, no,
Cap goes into hiding.
Hydra
Winter
was,
Soldier.
Winter Soldier.
Yeah, no, after Civil War.
Civil War, Captain America and Iron Man are beating the hell out of each other.
Yeah.
Right.
And then
With
Cap
Bucky.
breaks out the people from the prison. the very ending shot.
Right.
So yeah, they go into hiding, right? And so this movie takes place during that time period. With maybe flashbacks of stuff, of course. I don't know.
Interesting.
So yeah, right? Because it's going to kind of fill in a gap of this period in time. Yeah, of something that
like, how did Cap get his beard?
Hey, we're gonna find out. Right? We
don't know.
It's gonna be like the reverse of like Lady Snowblood. It just puts it back. It just goes back on. Sorry, I was editing that episode today. So
did you like it?
Lady Snowblood coming out soon, people.
Yeah,
look out for it. Actually, it's probably gonna be out before this. So sorry, guys.
Lady Snowblood
is already out. Check it out.
Check it out.
The other thing is. Keanu Reeves Day.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah, man.
So Matrix 4 and John Wick 4 are set to be released on the same day.
May 21st.
I don't hate to burst your guys' bubble.
2021.
I guarantee you it's not going to stay that way. I think one of them's going to...
You think one's going to slip?
Yeah, because it's the same audience. Like, they're both...
It is.
That's the thing.
It is. It's like we have to make a choice on one weekend for sure, especially.
Because if he was in, like, a kid movie and then, like, Matrix, then it's their counter-programming. Right?
Yeah.
But it's the same audience. No, one of them's going to move.
Interesting.
But it's still cool to know that they're both kind of coming out pretty soon.
Yeah.
Well, 2 years, but still.
I mean, when's Bill and
What
Ted coming
more,
out?
dude? Yeah.
It's also coming out.
What more can we do with the Matrix, though?
I don't know.
Right?
Matrix
Because-
Afterlife? Have kids coming
Okay,
in.
because it's Matrix 4. So means it's going to be after the events of 3.
Yeah.
Meaning after the fucking peace between the robots and the humans and everything.
Well, don't they say it like at the end of, or don't they say in 3
Well,
where
peace
it's
doesn't
like,
last that long or something.
right? Like every so many hundred years it comes back again or whatever.
That'd be cool.
I don't think he'll be the same character, right? He'll be different. Maybe he'll be a new Neo. Maybe.
I mean, if he's returning,
I think they're all returning. No.
Yeah, they were saying Lawrence Fishburne also, but something about they're gonna also.
Yeah, because even
Make
what's
them
her
young
name?
again?
Trinity. Trinity is also returning.
Yeah.
I forget her name.
where they're going to do the young
Like
CGI.
some young CGI versions of themselves also, or something. Yeah, like I read a thing.
I hope it's good.
Me too.
Man, me too.
Me too.
I hope it's
It's
good.
only
Because
one of the
2 and-
Wachowskis
2 and
also.
3 were a little, I would say 1, and then it's like, 2 and 3 for me.
I would agree with that.
It's only one
2
of the
has a lot of really
Wachowskis.
cool scenes. Down the Wachowski sisters.
Yeah, but there's only one of them doing it this time.
Oh,
Okay.
It's only Lana.
I don't know.
So I mean, it's
Is
like
that the one who did Speed Racer?
Oh, is it?
I don't know. They both did Speed
they
Racer.
both did Speed Racer.
Yeah.
Have they done
I still
solos?
need to see Speed Racer.
Oh my god, dude. How have you not seen
I
Speed
know,
Racer,
I
dude?
know. It's on my.
I never
it's
seen
on
I
my
mean,
pile of
it's
shame.
not that great, but it's Speed Racer.
I know.
man.
I need to see that
And it was directed by the Wachowskis.
and Cloud Atlas
That one I have
Dude,
seen.
dude,
and
don't-
Ninja Assassin.
I've seen.
Ninja Assassins.
That one's like overly bloody just
Yeah.
because.
Yeah.
I mean,
Let's
that
just
one
chop
is
people in half.
okay. It is anime for like it's anime on film.
Yeah.
Is what they try to do with Ninja Assassin, like straight up. They're
Yeah.
like, let's tell a fucking ninja anime story and let's make it into a fucking movie.
Yeah.
But the cool thing about anime is when they do like blood and guts, it's like really stylistic.
Yeah,
In a movie, it's just like CG blood. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
it's not as fun.
It's not the same. It's not the same.
and then they
Not the
use
same.
sort of the same effects they've used in their previous movies, like the Ninja Stars, using the little like fade behind as they're moving quickly, kind of thing.
Mm.
So you see a lot of that, and that's what kind of like where it's like,
If you had to pick which movie you would see, if you only could in that weekend.
Speed Racer or
No.
Or Cloud Atlas.
Or Cloud Atlas. Speed Racer, dude. Not Cloud Atlas.
Are you gonna watch Matrix 4
True.
or John Wick 4, bro?
John Wick 4.
Me too.
I need to see the trailer for The Matrix. If it looks like it's good,
But
then
with
maybe
no
Matrix.
trailer.
That's okay. Then that's me going on blind faith that this Matrix movie is going to be f***ing great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like John Wick has a better track record.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go see
It's
John Wick.
proved itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
But the
you're
thing
gonna have a good
is-
time.
The only thing I'm scared of is I think John Wick 3, like, they hit the tier of what they can do. Like, it's the highest bar they set.
So you think, sir?
That's the thing.
So you
I was
think?
like, can they go higher than
They
that?
can.
Of course.
'Cause
They-
they-
of course. We haven't even seen who's at the table yet.
I know,
But
man.
here's the thing: they did so many good action scenes in John Wick 3. They had a motorcycle sequence of swords. They had mirror/glass sequence. They had a dog.
Okay, do you think that they're just trying to more, and they just do that, or do you think they're going to let's change the story, or let's go with the story and then add cool elements to that?
I don't know. I think it's the first one. Because that's what the third one felt like more. And I was all for it. I'm like, I'm cool with that.
It's like, you know what? Dogs.
That's what I'm here for.
You know what?
So
Lions.
that's because I hear a lot of people complain, like, well, it's not as good as the first one. It's like, yeah, the first one's the most set good story, but I'm here for the action. So if you give me more, that's why I bought the ticket.
Yeah.
Came here for the action. So same with the horses.
But see,
got the
I feel
beginning
like
scene with
with
the
the
knives.
Matrix, I'm not really there too much for action. I'm there kind of half and half. I want story and I want action.
Totally.
For John Wick, I'm like, I don't really give a fuck what John Wick's doing as long as he's killing it in style, dude.
Yeah.
I kind of care. I like the lore, the coins, and
I mean,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, all
I
that's
like
cool.
all that shit's
Yeah,
cool.
but
I'm not saying I don't care about story.
I'm not like, oh man, this fucking the Continental is like the greatest story ever. Hotel, assassins. You know, I'm not.
Okay.
I just want to see John Wick murder people
Yeah.
with pencils and thumbs and.
If the story somewhat makes sense.
Yeah,
action.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Yo, but with the Matrix, I'm like, okay, this has to make sense, dude.
Yeah.
You gotta entertain my mind wiener. You know.
Yeah.
Think about at the end of John Wick 3 too, when he has the guys with the mega armor and he's got to figure out different ways to kill them.
Yeah, yeah.
He had so many good different
So
scenes in
good.
there.
And he's doing the headshots, and it's like bing, bing, bing,
And he's
and it's
got
like,
going like
oh no! It's like a fucking game where you're like, dude, I've been there, bro.
Yeah.
I feel you. Go for the weak spots, and he does it,
He
and
goes
it's like,
back. He's like, I need more ammo.
yeah,
So
the
good.
fucking shotgun, dude. Bam.
So good.
Okay, John Wick. Go see John Wick, bro.
Yeah, hell yeah, bro. I'm down. We'll go see that weekend.
Yeah.
So,
What else you got, Caleb? What's been happening, bro?
So speaking of release dates, Shazam 2 has a release date.
The Shazam family?
April 1st, 2022.
And that's gonna have The Rock as Black Adam, right?
Not confirmed.
Not confirmed.
Not confirmed.
No, it's not confirmed.
What?
No, I mean, Black Adam's having a movie, that's for sure. But I mean, it's not for
Oh, it's
sure.
not confirmed that he's coming out in this one?
Yeah. I mean, you can assume, but it's not like.
DC, man.
Just give all these people their own
Why would they
movies.
give?
Let's not put them together.
Why would they give him his own movie and not put him in?
I have no idea what
It's
the
like,
whole.
You've never known this guy, and here's a solo movie of the bad guy.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
But it is. Okay, so I know
Venom.
nothing about Black Adam. Exactly, so that's what I was going to say. I know nothing of Black Adam. Is he like a Venom?
I think he's just Shazam, but bad, isn't he?
That's what I thought. But I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know DC. I'm not going to pretend like I know my
Read
lore.
DC, bro. I don't read trash. read Marvel, bro.
Especially when it's bought by Disney. It's the best.
Oh, it's the best.
Yeah.
That's when it tastes the best.
That's right.
Give me all
That
that
mouse
Disney
cheese.
Marble. Money tastes
Yeah,
good.
so that's just a quick piece of news.
Cool, man.
Switching over to the video game.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Xbox Series X is the
Yes.
official name of
Yeah,
the Xbox
The new
Scarlet.
Xbox.
And it looks like a
It's like a tower, dude.
Yeah,
computer tower.
That thing looks massive, man.
Yeah. That looks pretty good.
It's also
it's
gonna
sad
have-
that no specs yet, right?
No.
No specs and really not too much information aside from the name and the picture.
Yeah, for
the
sure.
Halo series or the Halo Infinite is going to be released with it.
Yes, that's
Okay.
definitely one of the things. Halo Infinite, yes, confirmed.
I remember they
For
had
that.
said that they were gonna had what was it, 16 titles, huge studio titles that were gonna be launched at the same time or something
Like
like
on
that.
the day of the launch?
Huh?
Why would they do that?
To try and have a huge release, you have a load of games to pick from.
But I feel like if you're buying this, like if there's a new system, people are going to buy it. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
but you throw
Yeah,
that
you're
in
right.
holiday, 2020, and then you also Halo Infinite plus all these other new Mass Effect or some other big game gets thrown out there, and you're like, what? I gotta buy it. I can't not buy it. I gotta buy it.
Yeah.
That's my thing too. Is like I kind of so that's Oh, that's the thing I'm gonna buy next year.
Uh-huh.
I don't think I'm gonna buy another PS. I'm gonna buy the Xbox.
Nice.
I feel like that's.
Are you a PlayStation person now?
Yes.
And you're gonna make that switch?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I had the PS. You know, that's funny. I had the PS2 and the 360.
Mhm.
I like both of them. And then I had PS3 and PS4. But I think I'm gonna go back to Xbox.
I think you're not with that Game Pass, man. Like it's just like
Dude,
the
that
best
Game
decision
Pass
ever.
is
Man.
so f***ing great,
It's
dude.
really fucking good.
That is a godsend, man.
Yeah.
And like I said, I like the controller layout too. I'm sure the new one
Control
will be
feels better.
similar. It'll be different but similar.
Yeah.
The controllers are. Xbox has, in my opinion, the better controllers.
For sure. I agree with
The
that.
joystick grips are way better.
I hope they don't super change it when I want to buy one.
Right?
I know, right?
Now it's
Now
like
it's a banana controller. The Big Duke.
I think even the patent that they did for PS5 controllers, I think they were looking more like Xbox controllers
Oh,
too,
really?
where it has less of that boomerang look to the handles,
I mean, dude,
especially.
even their PlayStation Pro ones are basically Xbox controllers.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, yeah,
Well,
their official PlayStation Pro controllers look exactly
Oh, you're
like
talking
Xbox
about the ones made
controllers.
by
Sony.
okay, maybe. There was some Astro ones that were pro controllers for PlayStation.
Yeah.
I thought maybe you were talking about.
I mean, no. I mean, like, you're always gonna have like the Mad Kaz knockoff shit, but Sony made their own like pro controllers that are exactly like fucking Xbox controllers.
and do you think they'll have games released this year or this next year on the Xbox, new Xbox? So, like, say for Cyberpunk 2077, I was thinking about waiting and then just buying it on the Xbox.
on the new console,
Yeah,
because they did
console.
that with the 360 and Xbox One, right? Like where games were coming out on
There's
both.
like a transition period.
Yeah,
It's
during
coming
that
out on both.
transitional period, they were still making them for both.
Yeah.
You know.
I wonder if
I
they'll
hope they
just
do.
make it so that it's a maybe backwards compatible one gen, and then roll it out like that, where it's like if you did just buy that, you can still buy the Xbox and still play it, but it's not those heightened graphics or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Maybe they'll figure something out. That'd be kind of cool.
Uh,
At that same Game Awards show,
Yeah.
Caleb.
Because this all came out in the Game Awards.
Yeah.
Which I did not watch because that was 3 hours long.
I left work early to go watch that thing.
Frank
Caleb.
watched it.
The whole
Watched
3 hours?
the entire 3 hours. It was good.
How was it though? Was it good?
Yeah, it was good.
I hear people complain about like the ads and stuff.
No, not really. There's not really any.
Like ads.
In between, because Samsung was a sponsor a couple times, right? They kind of do have to show, you know. I mean, but at least they're relevant, right? Like Samsung's there. Hey, our QLED TVs, they're good for gaming or whatever, and they're kind of just showing you stuff. Like they're like relevant ads. It's not like you're watching a Doritos
Car
commercial or something, you know.
That's still relevant.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
I just still use Doritos.
Yeah,
Well, you know, something else.
Watching my QLED TV.
Yeah,
Venus and shavers.
I was gonna say like
stuff.
deodorant or you know.
Exactly.
Something
At least it's, you know, I don't know, in that area, I guess.
Yeah.
So I mean, I wasn't bothered by it. Also, you got to think about that show needs to take breaks, and it's not on regular television, so you're not watching just whatever commercials.
Yeah.
They're at least trying to show you relevant ones while they set up for the next part of the show or whatever.
Yeah.
But overall, I liked it, man. It was a good show. It was, I mean, like that Xbox announcement was like the third thing they did or something. It was real early.
Wow.
They showed a bunch of stuff. Godfall was one of the first PS5 confirmed games, which is, I mean, without seeing you need to see the trailer.
It's like a looter sword.
Yeah, it's like a looter slasher, they called it, or something
Looter
like that.
slasher, yeah.
Yeah, so think like
Sounds
RPG, probably co-op elements. I'm imagining third person, right? The trailer shows like 3 of them. Super high fantasy. It looks very
Looks-
like
I like
Darksiders
high
almost a little bit, but
Oh, I thought it looked like Destiny.
yeah, like Darksiders meets Destiny kind of look to it.
Okay.
It's a, it's just a teaser trailer, so obviously no gameplay or nothing, or whatever.
Right.
A lot of stuff they showed was
I
like,
hate those.
yeah.
Same.
So it's like, okay, it's hard for me to get excited, but the only thing was like, oh, cool. At the end of that, it says for PS5 or whatever. You're like, oh wow, but also it's an exclusive for PS5 also.
Oh man.
Yeah, man, you can't play anymore, Caleb. A lot of announcements. They did Hellblade 2, Senua's Saga, which looked really good. It looked really good. Because all the stuff, like they were saying, this is all in-game graphics or whatever. So obviously, you know that's going to be for the next for that Series X.
Yeah.
And the I don't know, man, like the frame rate that thing is running on, the smoothness of it, or especially for something like Hellblade, which is basically like pagan horror,
But
essentially.
do you think like they're, because don't they at game shows and sometimes use stronger rigs, or like they'll use like, you know.
Well, this is like rendered video. It's not like they're playing it off the actual box or whatever.
That's what I'm saying.
But
So
I
it's
don't
actual
know.
game footage, but is that actual game footage being rendered from the box, or is it from
I think at one point, yes,
supercomputer?
it's like they recorded whatever the game played and ran, and they're like, this is the way it looks or whatever.
I don't think game companies are that honest. I don't know. That's just my opinion.
It's
Yeah,
the new
'cause whenever
system,
I
though.
try to record something, it says you can't record during this cinematic.
They're in like block scenes.
See, bro.
I think they want to demonstrate the power of this thing. Even
The power of the dark
even
side.
the Xbox, even they were saying, hey, everything you're about to see is rendered in the game. It's like, but the thing is, it looks like CG. It looks pre-rendered.
Yeah.
Not like it's rendering there on on the fly or whatever. So you're of course taking in the visuals. Like, it's just the way the game can run without having to load a cinematic that looks way better than the actual game. It's kind of like that gap is like closing, even more so.
It's getting damn.
Yeah. Like if they can do that, where this looks CG, this looks pre-rendered, but it's not like that. I mean, kind of gets you excited for what's possible.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Porn.
Moving on, they showed off a new Final Fantasy VII remake trailer. Just more stuff. They announced Bravely Default 2. I don't know if you're a fan of that stuff or not. No, okay, that's just me. RPG voice. They showed a Birds of Prey trailer.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. I didn't see it.
Okay, well, I mean, it's more of the same kind of,
Okay.
nothing, not really missing out much, new scenes or whatever, but, just, I thought that was interesting that they did a segment, like Harley Quinn at the Game Awards, fourth wall breaking, self-aware, presenting that or whatever.
Was it cheesy? Because that sounds cheesy.
Well, she wasn't at the show. It was just a video of her with two other people.
Gotcha.
They announced a new, so the Player Unknown people are working on a new game.
Mm-hmm.
They again just pre-rendered footage or whatever. Don't show much, but I think this was the announcement for the initiative of them doing something other than a battle royale. Like they're trying to do these like single player focused things or whatever.
Not gonna work, bro.
The clip only shows like you're in a jungle and it's raining and you hear like dogs coming or something or whatever. But
So it's PUBG solo fucking mode? Nah,
Yeah.
I'm good.
kind of maybe.
Skip. Next.
The game show, the Game Awards also announced something you're going to be very excited about: a new MMO.
I heard about this.
Mm-hmm. Magic.
Yeah.
So in the Magic lore, there's going to be a new MMO called Magic Legends,
Mm-hmm.
and right now you can sign up for that. If you want to go play it, if you haven't, go do it.
Go do it right now.
Do it right now. You can become a Planeswalker now today.
Done. Did it.
Nice.
I'm a planeswalker now.
They announced the release date for Gears Tactics. Rick, do you
What
like
is Gears Tactics?
do you like Gears?
Stop f***ing calling me shit. What is Gears Tactics?
Oh, I'm
I
gonna
like
ask
Gears.
you. I'm gonna tell you
I
right
like
now.
Gears.
Yeah?
I like Gears.
Do you like XCOM?
I like XCOM.
Okay, that's what this is. It's both of those in one.
It's the same
It's just
joke.
that, you asshole. It's just Gears XCOM. Dude, that
It's
sounds
Gears
awesome.
XCOM. Yeah, dude, it looks
That sounds
good.
awesome.
I don't get it.
But no.
No.
Do you
I like Gears, yes.
have you played XCOM though?
No.
Do you know what it is?
It's Alien.
No, it's
That's
like
all I've seen.
it's like the
It's
turn-based tactics.
It's the type of gameplay,
I
basically.
don't know if it's a game.
Dude, you gotta play XCOM.
So,
It's pretty good.
I mean, it's just like it's very strategy based. You start off with your squad, and each squad member has like a certain thing. So, one of them's a sniper, one of them's a grenader, whatever. You build your squad and everything, and then you kind of take your turn and you move them. They have so many actions to move,
Okay.
and so many actions to shoot or do whatever. So, you have to strategically place them. The environment can be, destroyed like that. There's objectives you have to do. Like, you got to get this guy, capture him, get him out. You got to be careful because tripping wires will cause more aliens to come and Yeah, it's pretty intense.
Yeah.
It's really good.
You like really have to think about your moves because, well, at least in XCOM, which I'm sure they're probably going to do here, there's permadeath. So like a guy dies, that's it. That guy who you put time and money into, and he leveled up, and he got better, and he got skills. He dies, you were really pissed. So you're like just like I'm like guy, you know, I lost them. And yeah, there's base building aspect to it. So at the base, it's like, oh hey, start construction on this new thing, start research on this thing. Everything takes time. So when you're out in the world doing your missions, time's passing or whatever. And yeah, so depending on what you research brings new upgrades into your arsenal. Like, hey, we took this back from them and we researched it, and now we can do better ballistic armor. We have level 2 armor or whatever.
And so like you collect their corpse.
But you have to pay money to make this armor, and like, I only got money for 2 armor. You know, I can only put it on 2 of these guys.
So it's a lot of base management, resource management, a lot of taking care of your guys and upgrades and shit like that.
So like, you really care for your dudes.
It's kind of like you ever played that Fallout Shelter or any of those type of games where you're managing like basically a colony. It's kind of like that.
Kind of.
Interesting.
It's fun.
It's fun.
All right.
Yeah. What are the surprise announcements of the show? Wolf Among Us 2.
Yeah, I heard about that.
You heard about that?
Yeah.
So a lot of the ex-Telltale
Actually, I
developers.
heard Wolf Among Us is free right now on.
Yes, on the
Epic?
the Epic Game Store.
Yes.
So that's free. You should
That's
pick
free.
that up if you don't care. Do you have a PC?
I do have a PC.
Go,
Hey, you should pick it up,
go
man.
get it.
It is a really good game. Really good.
I played the first scene or 2.
Really? You
Yeah,
like
I
it?
had the demo.
Did you like it though?
Okay.
Yeah, it was cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a Telltale game. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that story in particular is pretty great.
They are so basically there was a fallout of that studio. They got together and made a new one. Well, technically with other people's help, but a lot of the ex-developers from Telltale are at a new studio now. Finally, so I mean, this has that kind of lineage behind it. So you know that's why they decided to do the part 2 to it and stuff. So everyone thought they were dead. So it was just interesting to see that they're actually. You know, still
They're
like
not.
Killed them.
they had firing squads on the way out of the building, basically. Keeping in the other video game news, there is a reportedly new BioShock in development.
Yeah.
Is it by
No.
Oh,
Yeah, new studio.
well, not
That's
exactly.
always scary.
New studio at 2K called Cloud Chamber,
Oh.
with the studio head being Kelly Gilmore
Oh.
of Firaxis, who does name escapes me.
I remember the logo of Firaxis.
Yeah,
games.
they do the Civilization.
Oh, they did all the
Banjo
stuff.
Kazooie.
That's what I.
No, she was up there in the Civilization team and stuff like that. So just it's 2K, right? So they're getting their resources and they're going to do a new BioShock.
I don't
Confirmed.
know, man. I don't know.
Let's
Can they,
see.
if they can tell a great story, then maybe.
Like the way Ken could.
Yeah.
I don't know. The old team's gone. Irrational Games, who did BioShock 1 and 3, technically. They don't exist anymore. So that's why
That's
there's
crazy.
there's like some reluctance to it, basically. And the last bit of news I have for you all.
From the Game Awards?
No, this is not Game Awards. I'm sorry. Yeah, Game Awards news?
One last Game Awards.
Go for it. Yeah.
Their Game of the Year was Sekiro Shadows Die Twice.
Yes,
Nice.
that's right.
I still have yet to play it. But
The one I told
really
Mauricio
wanna play
not to buy.
it. What other game was that?
What was his
It was that one in
Resident Evil, I think?
Oh yeah, no. For him, dude, Resident Evil.
Yeah.
He would get frustrated with that game and probably would just put it down.
Yeah, what I like about Sekiro though and Bloodborne is they're faster.
Yeah.
Because I would play Demon Souls, right? I played Dark Souls, and the animation of how long it takes to hit, I'm so frustrated. And I feel like with these games, there's a faster. You don't feel penalized too much for your
These are more
reaction time.
evasive than like counter
blocking.
hitting, or blocking or like that.
Yeah.
So jumping around and like quick strikes are definitely a lot more in this one in Bloodborne than in Dark Souls.
Yeah. Overall, the show though, did you see any snippets, any stuff that happened? This is good stuff. They had Elon Musk's girlfriend, Grimes, playing music and stuff. So Elon Musk was there. Dude, they had they had a Muppet Show kind of segment. It was like, it was so good. It sounds dumb, but they basically introduced Untitled Goose Game, but it's Beaker as like a joke. But like everyone wants that game now. Everyone wants Untitled Beaker or whatever. It was so good. God, what else? There's a lot of good moments of that show, man. The reveals, the world premieres they were doing and stuff. The music and everything. The orchestra was, playing some of the intros to some of that stuff. Hideo won for was it best direction or something like that.
Jeff's just gonna give him all the awards he can do.
That's what they were saying. Like, all these awards are just for Hideo.
It's just Jeff. Like, he's my best friend. He's gonna get an award, and he's gonna get a shout out, and he's gonna make a speech in every award show.
The only thing Jeff could do was give him that Lifetime Achievement Award, and he did that already. Everything else is voted on judges. It's out of his hands.
Oh man, Jeff's really on Hideo's balls, dude.
I mean, who would be? I would be.
Which is fine. Yeah, I would too.
If I had Hideo as a friend, I'd be
fuck yeah.
Here's some word for you, bro. I love you.
Yeah,
I love your stuff and what you do.
But you don't gotta let everyone know you're a sellout.
What? No, he's not a sellout.
He gave him a Lifetime Achievement
He
Award.
deserves one. He's like 50-something.
Yes.
He's done like so many good games.
Yeah,
It's just Metal Gear, that was it.
He doesn't look it, but he's like 50-something.
It just did Metal Gear 5. So.
God damn it. It's like been making games since PSX era and stuff.
Yeah,
like
when Metal Gear 1 came
like
out.
Nintendo 1
Yeah.
type era, like even before that,
Really?
He's been in it, dude. He's been in it since like 80s, late 70s, probably.
So
He's been in it for a
since
long time.
1984.
Before that.
He's gonna make a cameo in Wonder Woman.
Right? That'd be cool. Kojima and fucking Wonder Woman.
And yeah, a good show overall. I'd say you could probably just watch the replay and just kind of fast forward to stuff you don't really care about. But overall, a good show. I can't really think of anything else at the moment that super stuck out to me right now. But good stuff.
That's good. That's good.
The last bit of news I have, big news, important news.
We're quitting.
We're quitting. This is our last show. Half-Life Alyx was announced
man.
since our last podcast.
Yeah, man.
Caleb,
I'm excited for it, dude.
You ever
It's so
played
bad.
Half-Life, Caleb?
No, I've always seen it. It's the guy with glasses.
Yeah.
Cover.
It's a good game. It's definitely a relic of its time in the sense of like they made important leaps in technology and storytelling when it came out, and that's why it has that reverence that it has today, because people played that thing and they gave a shit about that thing because it was like the thing to play. You know what I mean?
On PC?
Yes. Yeah.
It was great. It came out, part 2 came out with the orange box. So
Yes.
that came out in the consoles.
Yeah, it was like 01, 02, 03, something like that.
360.
Early 2000s, I think. The orange box, yeah, that was like Half-Life, that was Team Fortress, that was Portal.
3 games in one.
Yeah. More than that, right? There's
No,
Portal
only
and
those 3.
Half-Life.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see.
It was good. It was good, dude. Anyway, so Half-Life Alyx. Since you don't know anything about what's going on, this technically is... Okay, here's the thing. I'm going to try to give you the quick rundown on
What's the
Half-Life.
game plan?
Real
God.
quick. Real quick.
What's the game
So he
plan?
understands the
It's
significance.
gonna take...
No, look. They came out
Go
with
ahead.
Half-Life.
Alright.
They came out with Half-Life 2.
Yeah.
And around that time, games were turning episodic, so they did Episode 1 and Episode 2,
Okay.
and then they stopped.
Okay.
They just...
No one knows.
I don't know.
It just
It's
stopped.
been over 10 years, Caleb.
Okay.
And they left on a cliffhanger.
But then they made Left 4 Dead. Then
Yeah.
they made Left 4 Dead 2.
Oh, I like those two.
And
And then they made Dota 2.
yeah.
Oh, I like that one too.
Yeah. But yeah, like that was coming out.
No 3s.
Yeah, nothing with a 3 in the title.
Oh.
So
Is that a thing?
Yeah,
Half-Life
it's a thing.
3 it's the meme, right? It's like
Ah.
it's the most daunting thing that studio has probably faced, because once you say the word Half-Life 3, it's like it's a big deal, because that's what everyone's waiting for. It's like either you're doing Episode 3 or you're doing Half-Life 3, because it's been over 10 years that you have not concluded, you have not made good on that crazy ending that last episode
Huge
finished on.
cliffhanger.
It's big.
What's the gameplay like though?
First-person shooter.
Oh,
Yeah.
so
With a little bit of platforming and
A little bit of platforming, puzzle solving.
A little bit of puzzle solving.
Yeah.
okay.
It is definitely a one of those games that came out and like everyone started taking inspiration off of that.
Well, because of the physics, especially.
Yeah.
Like their
ragdoll
physics was a thing
insane.
that they were doing, especially.
Yeah.
So like a lot of physics-based puzzles, even and stuff.
I mean, anytime Valve comes out with a game, dude, it's like everyone takes all that and it's like, oh, here's all the new shit.
Yeah.
And then they make all that. Like when Portal came out with the whole liquid physics and the Portal 2 stuff, that was awesome and insane technology that hadn't been made yet.
The story overall very good. A lot of it's very like the way almost Halo kind of handles stuff, where like you have to pick up a lot of what's happening from what's being presented in the lore, because they're not going to just straight out tell you, So there is a little bit of that where like everyone is just clawing for information and secret and Easter eggs and stuff like that. So you have this heightened passion for this game that has not been touched for over 10 years, and then they finally come out with it. And then they say, VR only.
Yeah.
You now have to pay $1,000-ish to play this game.
Well, no. I mean,
Well, I
I
say
think you
ish.
want the index.
Well, yeah, that's
So,
also the vibe is around
Half-Life
that.
Alyx will be compatible with any VR that can play the
Yes.
Steam VR stuff.
Yeah, which I already can because I have the
Right,
Oculus, so I'll be able to.
You'll be able to, and so would anyone else who even has that shitty Oculus Go.
Or Oculus Quest, maybe even. That's the new one, the
That's the
wireless.
better one, yeah.
Uh,
The ones to go.
So, that rubs some people the wrong way because they're like, oh, you're telling me I got to spend all this money now to play the next Half-Life episode. And people are
But
upset.
it's not really the next Half-Life episode.
Exactly. Because this is technically like a.
It is it is in the Half-Life universe, but it is not continuing that story that everyone wants. So that's why it's like they were doing the VR to stop. Because it's like it's already going down, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Like VR sales were going down.
I'm sure.
I mean,
I'm sure a lot of the hype
it was
around
most
VR
of
was
like
already.
it's
Yeah.
and then they popped this out, and now everyone's
Everyone's hot on VR now. Everyone's gonna start making VR again
I can't
because
get one, dude.
because of what this name is bringing to the table. That video alone, if you see it compared to other VR, like what you've seen, you're like, dude, this is like they're doing like actual VR. Like this isn't the dumb stuff you see.
So that's what I was gonna say. With most of Valve's games, it's almost like they take like some sort of new technology that they're around with,
Yes.
and then they build an entire game around that.
Yes.
So the whole Portal 2 was the whole liquid physics and all that, and then they built the whole game around that. I mean, the Portal 2 was almost not even going to be called Portal 2, or was not even going to have portals in it because they weren't even focused on portals. They were focused on the other technology that they were presenting.
Yeah, because technically Portal takes place in the Half-Life universe, but it's the rival kind of science team there's Black Mesa versus Aperture Science kind of.
So like for Half-Life 2, it was like ragdoll physics and all that. And then I feel like for Portal, it was this. And then now with this, they're taking VR and they're like, how can we make a awesome VR game? And let's just use our Half-Life universe.
Yeah.
And it looks so good.
It looks really good.
Because, I mean, who else can do something like that other than Valve? Who else can come out with like, this is going to be the new standard, right? Because when Half-Life Alyx comes out, that is a new standard for VR. This is what everyone needs to be doing.
Yeah.
To make, and if you want your games to be good, it has to be
Like
this
they're setting the
quality.
bar, basically.
Yeah, this is going to set the bar.
Yeah. And that's kind of what all their previous stuff did. When Half-Life 2 came out, especially, like, they were like the pinnacle of, where that technology they were pushing forwards.
Not only that, storytelling as well, with everything, dude.
Yeah. Like, it kind of makes sense that they were doing VR because that's, like, an area that they were especially passionate about, to the point where they made their own VR headset, the Valve, the Steam Index and all that or whatever. The thing about Valve, especially within these last 15 years of them being just quiet and not doing much and not being really communicative or anything like that, has, they have money. They own Steam, right? Like that's the platform on PC for PC games and all that. The money they get, they can take their time to come out and play around with anything, The way stuff's probably going there too is there something, gets prototyped and like, nah, scrap it, because there's no rush. That like most companies, you get deadlines. You only have
it's like you need to have this out by a Christmas holiday, or else we're gonna fire everyone.
And they got unlimited money. There's no pressure for them to finish.
And Gabe's like, I don't
There's no pressure to put out anything.
Scrap that.
They'll ever make a Half-Life 3?
That's the golden question, Caleb. Here's the thing. So, all right. Okay.
Please.
Here's an important thing.
Please.
About what's been said about this new Half-Life Alyx. They said you should probably play Half-Life Episode 2 before you play this.
All right.
So that means something. Maybe won't go into 3 territory, but it's definitely going to be some kind of impact towards what's going to happen, maybe, possibly. But yeah, I mean, the team, as they said it, they did an interview when it came out, and they were saying, "Hey guys, why did you guys choose VR?" And it's just them, like I said, they're just kind of making games, prototyping, and once it gets to a certain phase, it just they're not happy with it. It has a lot of work, blah blah. They scrap it, But just stuff started happening. They started making progress. They liked where they were going, but I think even more so, it's daunting to come back to the Half-Life 3 name, because the expectations of just the impossible expectations to satisfy what people are gonna think that game to be and stuff like that, and I think more reason than not, that's why they were like, well, if this is a good way to get our feet wet and try something out and have it happen beforehand, so we don't piss off a bunch of people, basically. And that's how you get Half-Life Alyx.
Right on.
A lot of stuff around it, man. So yeah.
That's Frank's quick explanation.
Damn, how long did I take?
I don't know.
Hey,
We'll start the count.
Hey, my quick thing was just.
I told you this will take a while.
You interrupted. Hey, it's important. This is important. This Half-Life Alyx, dude. This is
true
history here happening, Caleb.
How can I play Half-Life?
PC, Steam. It's probably dirt cheap,
especially
around this time.
With the orange box, right?
Maybe
be able to download that.
Okay. Here's the question: should he play Half-Life 1 or not? That's the question.
You don't need to play.
Or should he play Black Mesa, which is the fan remake of Half-Life 1 with today's graphics that's completed?
Other than that, sure, you can play that.
I think.
Yeah.
Even if you drop into 2 without having played 1, it's fine.
1 scared me as a kid.
It did.
Scared the shit out of me as a kid.
So how do you play Half-Life 2? You make a username on Steam on your PC, and the games are just available to purchase. I think around this time, Christmas time, they're probably going to be on sale, so you can probably get this.
Valve usually on their all their sales and their own stuff is heavily discounted.
They practically
probably
give
pick
it
it up
away
for like $5 or $10 or something.
Yeah, maybe you probably get all of them for like $10 or less. I bet.
Yeah, with all the DLC and all that.
It is. You can get that for dirt cheap, basically.
Right on.
So,
also, if you want to play Half-Life Alyx, and Valve's doing that whole, you buy any of their index stuff, it comes free with it.
Oh, yeah. The game will be free if you purchase the index, I think, before the end of the year.
Yeah.
I don't know what about after, but definitely if you purchase it before. I read you were getting the game free. So, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I want it.
I want it too. I'm going to get it
too.
Get it.
One of these days, Caleb.
Huh?
One of these days.
One of these days.
I want to watch you play some Half-Life.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll play Half-Life for LoFi.
I'm down.
That'd be cool, guys.
Super down.
Yeah. All right. I'd be super.
I have
down.
one last piece of news for Rick.
All right.
What's up?
It's gonna make Rick happy.
I like being happy. It's my favorite thing.
Game of Thrones creators David Benioff and D.B. Weiss have reportedly signed on to produce a movie based on Lovecraft graphic novel at Warner Bros.
Ooh, does it say which graphic novel?
No.
That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're assholes.
That's
But-
what I said.
But you know what? If everyone hates them now, and everyone's just gonna be like, "F you guys," maybe you just leave them alone. Maybe they'll have the space they need to make this great. Because they made the first, couple of seasons of Game of Thrones were really great.
They were great.
And they only got choppy there when they kind of had no more writing material.
Yeah.
And honestly, they got away with the best that they could. They got the best deal that they could. They tanked that show, but they ran away like bandits, right?
Mm-hmm. The question is, are you think because they had material to like go off of and George R. R. Martin's leadership to like, write about that show, do you think without that kind of, if they're doing just from scratch kind of stuff, are they still going to be that good?
What do you mean from scratch?
Like, I mean, they're whatever story they're coming out with or whatever they're doing.
The Lovecraft one?
Yeah. Like, I mean, they have a book to go off, but they don't have series of books, do they?
Yeah, dude, Lovecraft has a huge
Well,
catalog of fucking
I guess it depends
stuff
on,
to go
but
through.
there's like one story.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Right,
saying.
that's
It's
what I'm
like
saying.
it's like
If you're gonna choose
you're
one,
talking
yeah,
like
you-
one big book.
Well, yeah, you choose one good one, and then you just do a movie on that. That's pretty fucking cool.
All right, we'll see. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
That's why I'm curious of which story, because he has so many.
Speaking of Game of Thrones, I have a new story that's going to make Caleb happy.
All right.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm just taking his line from the last thing. Speaking of Game of Thrones, it was confirmed that the place where Daenerys was being taken to by Drogon is Volantis,
Okay.
where there was another red witch there who does resurrections.
Confirmed by who?
Yeah,
I don't know. The article's on my phone.
Sorcerer.
Yeah, where's your source?
Source.
Was it IMDb?
Was it? Yeah, man. Was it IMDb fact?
No. It was confirmed.
Was it Mad Cats?
It was said. You can Google it right now.
Was it comic book news?
Was it?
God damn it. I still see people, like, sharing that. I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah, it's a pretty bad source.
Yeah. Nah, see, Caleb? I told you.
Nah, not true. Not true.
All right, on that note, anything we've been playing? Anything you want to talk about? You've been playing any video games, guys?
I downloaded Call of Cthulhu.
Nice.
I haven't played it yet, though.
Okay.
The board game?
No, it was the video game. It came out, what was it, like 2 years ago?
Yeah,
I think?
Call of Cthulhu. Right? Wasn't it called Call of Cthulhu? Yeah.
Call of Cthulhu. I don't remember the studio that did it.
No, I didn't pay
I'm trying to remember.
I saw it,
because-
but I didn't.
Yeah. Because it was one of those where it's almost like an indie studio, and it's supposed to be really good to the Lord. So I'm excited to play.
Cool. I haven't played anything.
You know?
Call of Duty.
Yeah, it's Call of Duty. Some Apex. You play a new Apex?
No. I Call of Duty and Rocket League.
Ooh, Rocket League.
I've been doing.
Cool, man.
Yeah, I think I'm just still Dota.
Wait until Christmas to get some
D&D.
Christmas games.
Y'all been watching some cool stuff then?
I have.
Watchmen.
Oh, what episode you on?
Oh, man.
The only ones we got so far.
So episode 9 was the last one, wasn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, so we just need one more episode.
I haven't caught up.
Where are you, Caleb?
The last
my
episode
God.
I saw was the one with the Mirror Man and
Oh my God, you're behind.
super behind.
God, that episode
my
was
God.
great, though.
That is
It's
a
a
good,
really
it is a
good
good
Such
episode.
a dude. Looking Glass is one of my favorite characters, dude.
He was so good.
He's doing so good as an actor.
He's
man.
good. He's good.
Yes.
God, and just the end, dude, where he's like, even after he finds out, he still goes back and grabs the like he just
He
in
brings it
case,
back in.
dude, the paranoia, he can't, dude. God,
That's
That was
so
so
good.
good.
God, to just be told all that and everything, and then he's just.
Caleb, you need to watch this thing.
I heard the ending's really good.
Oh my God,
It's really
man.
good.
Well, okay, well, it hasn't ended yet. This Sunday's the end.
I thought it just ended.
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah, what's today?
Today's Saturday.
So the new episode's tomorrow?
Are you sure?
Yes.
I thought it just ended.
No.
Well, then I heard this last episode was really good.
Yeah. Well, I have mixed feelings about it. I want to talk about it, but I guess we can't. I'll tell you what, though, that next episode you're going to watch, though, which I think is 6, probably my favorite of the entire show. Episode 6 was so good. So good. So important.
Dude, all the episodes
really
are so good.
Yeah, dude.
The whole show is so good.
They are, man. 6 though.
Bravo.
6 was really good. 6 was really good.
I'm excited. The only thing I have seen was a little indie movie on Netflix called Marriage Story.
Weird story.
Yeah, it's supposedly going to get a lot of awards.
Oh, Marriage Story.
Yeah, Marriage Story.
Oh, sorry, I heard Mirror Story.
No.
Yeah, I wanted to watch that. It's got Kylo Ren in it.
Yeah, Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson.
That looked interesting to me. I like that when they released that, they had a trailer for both
Yes,
Scarlett.
that's what got
and
me
for Adam.
hooked.
Yeah,
I guess it got me hooked.
I like that. I was like, this is kind of cool because it's like you get the both perspectives of these spouses. You know, like his perspective and hers. Like they kind of talk about the other person. You know, but it's obviously, you know, you see some of the turmoil, but you see it from their point of view.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering how the show or the movie. I'm sorry, it's a movie, right?
Yeah.
So I'm wondering how the movie handles that. Like, does it also do that?
It's
or what?
really good. It's
Yeah?
the movie is 50-50.
Okay.
Like it really is, and
Okay.
I feel like I'm like, you know, I guess maybe because I'm a guy, like I feel like it's more leaning towards
You
Adam
lean
Driver's
towards his
character.
stuff, yeah.
I don't know, but and even at the ending credits, like when it shows their names, they're like side by side. Like it's not like one on top of the other. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
sides, like everything's like 50-50.
That's pretty cool.
Really
That's
cool. But yeah, it's a really good drama. It's like, dude, it's so hard to watch. But it's
See, that's
so
the thing.
good.
That's because I'm like, okay, I'm gonna watch this. I know this is gonna be like a very draining, probably
But
sad.
it's not super like okay, so like that's the thing. Most movies you think it's gonna be like a bunch of yelling and craziness the whole movie. It's not. It's actually a really like calm, quiet movie.
Like Her.
I
Haven't seen it.
You need to see it. You
That's
have
one-
not seen Her?
That was one I missed out on. Okay.
I was sitting amongst scholars here.
Either way, so it's a calm movie, but like you feel like the intensity.
I feel shame.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I take it back.
I haven't seen it.
No,
I
it's
just
not.
haven't got around to it.
All right. It's okay. We'll watch it.
I've been rewatching True Detective season 1.
But yeah, you feel like the tenseness between them in the scene. So they're like talking to each other, but you feel the tensity between it, right? There is the scene towards the end of the movie, and it's so good.
Yeah.
But it's a really good movie.
Does she have any nude scenes in it?
No nude scenes.
It would have
Just
been
a look of disappointment.
It would have been a plus. I might have watched it tonight. Put that on my back burner.
Yeah, I definitely want to check that out.
It's good though. It's really good.
Okay.
If you want to watch a movie that might be an Academy movie,
Yeah, that one.
probably be there somewhere.
Cool.
Director or actress. Really good.
Y'all been watching The Mandalorian?
Yes.
I've watched everything except this last episode. The one from yesterday. What's today? Saturday. I didn't watch yesterday.
Why?
I watched it at 6
I'm
in the
sure
morning.
you
I
all-
watched it
I'm
today,
sure you all have
this
not watched it.
morning.
You all
I watched it
have
at 6 in the
either.
morning yesterday.
You're lying.
No, I seriously do. Well, when I have school, I'm like, I'm not going to watch this till
Right.
later, so I better watch it now.
Okay, so I have not watched
So
yesterday's.
Episode 6 was much
We're
better
gonna
than episode
spoilers about the new episode. I'm just kidding.
5. I didn't like episode 5 for sure. That was the weaker of the episodes, I think, because it was kind of
You know what? I felt the same way, especially with like the almost like comedic.
dude he was with.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like,
I was just
"Oh,
kind of
good for
like,
him."
this guy's just like a comic relief, sort of.
Yeah, I didn't like.
Definitely the weaker of just the rest of the episodes for me, but I did feel a little like.
But episode 6 made up for episode 5.
Okay, I'll
For sure.
check it out.
And this latest episode is so good.
It's good.
So good.
That's
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I was the whole time. I was like,
That cameo. at the
how?
end, I was
Yeah.
like, what?
It was awesome. It was awesome.
Dude, what else I've been
You see
watching?
the lightsabers? I was like, oh my gosh.
Where next? Where next?
Where does it go to?
I don't.
Oh, it's so stupid.
It's insane.
You know what else I've been watching? That would be like another.
Golden Eric.
You know what else I've been watching?
What you been watching, Frank?
Well, technically 2 series on Netflix: The Toys That Made Us,
Okay.
Yeah.
as well as the movies that made us.
Okay.
You've seen The Toys That Made Us? Any?
I haven't seen any of them.
I saw the first episode, which was
I don't remember. I went straight to the ones I wanted to watch.
I think I saw I saw the Star Wars episode, and I saw a little bit of the Barbie episode.
Okay. I definitely watched the Ninja Turtles one, the Power Rangers one.
Yeah, because that's later in the season, so I think that's all.
Yeah, so I was just kind of cherry picking. I wasn't going one by one because you don't technically have to.
Well, what you want to know all the episodes?
Well, I watched all of them. I'm making my way there.
Making my way.
It's
been a while.
And along that line, so I was enjoying those
a
lot, right? I'm like, oh, cool, just I was remembering all these toys I used to play with or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why when I went into the attic the other day,
I saw that.
Yeah, right. My Ninja Turtle, I was like, this is
like,
the one. This is the one from the show.
Every time I gotta go up there, I see that every day. Then this guy goes up there once and he's super happy. And every time I pass by them, I'm kicking the box and I'm like, get this the out of here.
Like, I'm glad my parents didn't throw away that stuff because I don't know, it's something about looking back at your own like
childhood,
your own childhood, your own past. You're like that. That's not just a memory in my brain. Like this is physically right here. Like I played with this when I was a kid.
Yeah.
It's almost like to confirm it. So I don't know. There's just something about it, and. Me going in my attic and finding everything and looking at everything, and I'm Ninja Turtles and everything. We had our Star Wars Dash Rendar's ship was there and everything. It was great. It was a great moment for me. But I've also been watching the movies that made us, which what did I see? I saw Home Alone, Ghostbusters. What was the other ones? Oh, I haven't seen Die Hard or Dirty Dancing yet.
How are those two?
Those are good, man.
Yeah? They're
really, really good. They definitely touch on the, the making of it, right? And, Harold Ramis, he directed Groundhog Day. Bill Murray starred in it. They pretty much didn't talk anymore after that movie.
Mm-hmm.
And that hurts. That, just listening to the people talk about it, especially Harold's daughter, that's rough watching her talk about that. Or also not wanting to be disrespectful to Bill Murray. Because he's, it's fucking Bill Murray, but he's like an enigma, wrapped in enigma, to take Dan Aykroyd's own words for it. You can tell, just Dan also talking about him. I was like, oh man, it sucks. So the fact, bringing this back to the beginning, the fact that they all signed on to still do this movie, I think was like, holy shit, because there's not really bad blood there, but they're not close as you think they would be, considering how many movies they made together, Harold was in Stripes with Bill and stuff like that. You know what I mean? They came out and stuff together. I mean, they were writers and directors and stuff. Mm-hmm. So my takeaway, at least from that, I was like, man, I didn't know it was that bad. Yeah. That they just wouldn't speak or whatever. But he did, however, when Harold was passing away, Bill did come over to see him before he passed. Kind of bury the hatchet, I guess.
Bury him.
Bury him.
Get in there soon.
Bury him.
So that was at least a little something at the end of it. So, holy crap, man.
Enigma and an enigma. What you think I was going to do?
But it was fun. You just watching Ghostbusters get made, they had to make it in 13, 15 months or something.
Damn.
They had very little time. It was a brand new special effects studio that was being put together. The time crunch they were in, it's that stuff's interesting. I mean, I'm sure you guys will like it when you check it out. But just seeing
especially
how movies get
scholars.
made, because I want to be around scholars, surrounded by them. So,
Yeah.
And last thing I've been watching, guys, is a little Netflix movie called The King.
Yeah, dude, that was really good.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, with Timothée Chalamet.
Yeah, Chalamet.
So he's gonna be.
Duke Leto. No, not Duke Leto.
He's gonna be Paul Atreides.
Paul, yeah.
For Dune.
So I remember I had no idea who the hell Timothée Chalamet was. I remember when you brought it up, right? And I was like, "What the hell is that? I don't fucking know." But I saw him in The King. I was like, "Dude, this kid's good."
It was good.
It was a good movie?
Oh, it's really good, man.
I gotta see it because I had no intention to see it.
Yeah. I watched it because I wanted to see how he was gonna do, and holy shit, man, I have great expectations for him to play Paul.
Yeah, I liked what I like especially about this movie, The King, is it's almost like taking the heroic let's say cliches of like medieval fantasy, or not even fantasy, just medieval movies in general. And like, you know, hero gets to kill the villain, and like, oh, they go charging the castle. Like I love that it kind of subverts that into like the realism of like what actually happened or whatever, or like the way battles actually work, or even, I mean, the way war in general back then was brutal, dude. But like, okay, so let's take the violence for example. Like you think like, oh, just, you know, dudes like shoving each other with shiny out or sharp objects or whatever.
There is no blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
it's realistic.
But like you think these are two dudes in armor, like trying to, you know, find the like going back to John Wick, just finding the weak spots to like kill each other and stuff like that. Like that's already crazy in itself, especially when it's happening in a war kind of setting. But what I loved is that they take time to show you that this wasn't like a glorious heroic thing. For example, you know, they're gonna go like, let's say, sack a castle. They just day and night, they're flinging cannonballs at this tower, but it's not like one goes and it just everything comes down, a tower's crashing. No, you see it from afar, it's like, and it's just like, okay, let's throw another one, you know, and it's just, it's that over and over. And it's
siege,
like,
bruh.
yeah, it's like, it's a siege, but it's not the way it's depicted in movies. It's not exciting. It's not, you know, so to some people it could come off as like slow or you know, boring or something, but I was just like, dude, this is the way it happened, you know?
That's cool.
You're just repeatedly
accurate.
launching, you know, fireballs at it or whatever. And yes, after days, you see fires and smoke.
Yeah.
Until someone comes out like, hey, you know, okay, let's stop this or whatever. But like, just that stuff, or even going like through like lengths to show you, like, hey, this is a moving, war. We are on this continent. This is not ours or whatever. We're in this new country, and we have to move. We have to move. Everybody are, you know, not only the people, the soldiers and the archers, but like the archbishops, and they're having to move, and like, you know, there's guys carrying them on sticks or whatever. But you see the painstaking, like just like what it takes to do battle in those times and stuff like that. So I really kind of enjoyed. Like, even though it could seem like a slower medieval war movie or something like that, but it was so interesting because that's the way stuff was handled.
That's
you know?
cool.
Yeah,
That sounds really cool.
The show's really great.
Show movie?
It's a movie.
It's a movie.
It's
like 2.5 hours, maybe.
really
less.
good, like period piece
Cool.
for that period.
Is it based on anything
Yeah,
real?
it's based on
Yes,
King Henry.
King Henry V.
I believe so.
King Henry V. He was a kid who was like 13th in line for the succession.
Was it Shakespeare who did the fourth? Or the third?
I don't know.
You know Shakespeare? I know Shakespeare did two of them, but I don't know if it was. I think it was the third and fourth.
I would say probably not him, because this king was especially popular or known for being a warrior king because he fought in his battles. He fought in many battles, even.
Not a Joffrey.
Yeah, definitely not a Joffrey. This guy would go fight, and I think that's why it's especially interesting. There's been books written about him. And
Oh, cool!
Super interesting.
Have you seen Vikings?
No. Well, I've seen the first 2 or 3 episodes.
First
I've been meaning to go back to it.
If you like the whole setting up of the siege and the whole historic accuracy, Vikings is fucking great.
Yeah.
Because they do.
It wasn't
a
that
lot
the
of
intention of Vikings because it's on the History Channel. That's
Yeah.
where it comes out on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then it got turned into a little more, you know, series production-y, but they start off pretty fucking historically
Very
great.
grounded.
Yeah.
Did you see that
In the
History
first
Channel?
episode, there's like, he sees Odin,
Well, yeah.
or he thinks he sees Odin, but yeah, doesn't he approach him later that first episode? But, you know, I know it, you know, it's going to be a thing.
And he.
Yeah.
Doesn't the History Channel, the other History Channel show about the Knights of?
Templar?
Yes, I forgot what it's called. Nightfall. Have you seen
I
that
haven't
one?
seen it.
Has Mark Hamill in it?
No, I haven't seen
I
it.
heard it's good.
Yeah? That's on Netflix?
Should be, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The History Channel show. Sorry, but that's cool. I'm definitely gonna check that out now because
It's,
I had no intention.
yeah,
Now
no,
I
it's-
have intention.
Yeah, it's good, man. It's very, very good. I would
Yeah,
definitely
that
recommend
kid
it.
does great, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know he's a good
Yeah.
actor for sure. I already knew that because I had seen him a little bit in Call Me by Your Name
That's right, you were telling.
and Lady Bird.
I think the only thing you need to know, at least historically, so you know where this sets up, is just that his dad is a usurper. So they're not supposed to be king.
Usurper.
So that's why he was 13th in line, and he went from his dad like forcing out some cousin or something, which they don't show or say anything, but that's why he was known as a usurper king. And yeah, he's his couple of sons or whatever.
Like Stannis.
So that like, hey, yeah. Kind of, yeah.
Right? What was his whole thing?
I was gonna say more like
Who did he call the usurper?
Well, he called Robert, right? Because that's what Robert was.
Robert the
that's
Usurper.
what it was.
So yeah,
That's the only time I've heard that word.
Yeah.
Because of Stannis, yeah.
I mean, it basically is you're on the throne when you're not supposed to be or whatever.
Well, yeah, you, by force.
Yeah, by force you took the throne or whatever. You're a usurper. So that's what his dad is. So that way you know when you watch it, kind of what what the deal is. I guess.
Cool.
Good, man. Let's go check it out.
I will check it out for sure.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And I think that does it, guys. Everything we've been watching, at least.
Speaking of scholarly things,
Yeah.
what's your scholarly top 5 Christmas movies?
Oh, top 5
This is a Christmas episode.
Are we?
Our first annual Christmas episode.
Yeah, our first Christmas episode.
Shit, right.
What? I
Shut your face.
Mine's short.
Top
man.
5. Go.
Top 5.
Okay.
From number
Am I
3
starting?
in your opinion.
Yeah.
Yes, because
You have the shortest list.
There's only 3 movies
We'll
that
count
matter.
clockwise.
To you.
I mean, I could add other stuff, but I just
No,
stuff
not
that I
anymore.
really like.
Not anymore. Go
You
ahead.
don't like any other
No,
movies
these are
three
Frank's
movies
3 Christmas movies. Not even top. These are Frank's only 3 Christmas movies ever.
that
Go.
he watches in
No.
the
Number 3.
Look,
Number 3.
Can I guess number 1?
no. Okay, go.
I'll tell him the secret.
Okay.
Yeah, tell
No,
me.
just say it. Just say
No,
it.
I want to laugh about it.
We'll say something so you don't hear.
Yeah.
I'm not what I
Yeah.
Okay, you ready?
Go ahead.
Okay, number 3,
Uh-huh.
A Christmas Story.
Okay.
That one's classic.
Yeah.
Of course.
Classic.
Yeah.
Shows
I mean, I
all
could've
day
also-
on TBS.
I could have also said The Grinch and all this other stuff,
Okay.
but
Christmas
I'm like,
Story.
Whatever, man.
Because you don't like those movies.
Yeah, no.
No, they're fine.
No.
No, but you don't
Top 3.
They're fine.
Go.
They're just not my favorite.
Number 2.
Home Alone.
Okay.
Okay.
Home Alone.
Also a great one.
Good Christmas movie.
Number
Good.
1.
Jingle All the Way.
Okay. That was on there.
Wow. Is that really your answer?
Yeah.
That's
I
awesome.
love Jingle All the Way.
I was wrong. I said Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, no, dude, that's too... It's already...
I just thought you might.
That's too overplayed,
Well,
man.
you never know. Anyways, my top 5,
Go for it.
because I like more Christmas movies. My number 5 is Elf. I have a lot of fun with it. It's a good fun movie.
Will Ferrell
Makes
was
me
trying a
laugh
little
every
hard.
time.
I love Will Ferrell.
No,
He's trying a little too hard for me in that
Yeah,
movie.
he went just as hard as he needed
That's
to go.
like peak Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
Anything past that, he tries too hard. But right there,
No.
Step Brothers for me is peak Will Ferrell.
Yeah. Or Talladega Nights even. I laughed so hard in Talladega Nights.
That's
man.
good, dude.
That's my favorite one.
I
Anyways,
loved him
Elf.
enough. I loved Elf. It's a good.
It's a good, fun movie.
Yeah.
Number 4 is Scrooged with Bill Murray.
Ooh, nice. Yeah.
Okay.
No. No. Continue. Yeah, I really like Scrooge.
I was just going to say I've never seen Scrooged.
Oh.
I know. I need to watch it.
It's really good. It's
Yeah,
fun.
Really
It's
good.
Bill
I
Murray.
can't believe
I'm going to watch it this year.
Bill Murray Christmas Carol.
Mark
That's
my
what it
words.
is.
That's what it is. Bill Murray Christmas
I mean, that's
Carol.
what I figured.
And
right?
It's great.
Yeah.
It's
All right.
very
It's really good.
what you expect it to be.
Cool. I need to watch that.
My number 3 is Home Alone.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty close to yours.
Yeah.
My number 2, don't get mad. I'm going to put Die Hard.
Oh, no, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
some people do consider that a Christmas movie.
consider-
I'm not going to be mad and say that's not because I don't know. I'd say it is.
I'm going to put 2.
Number 1.
Number 1 is The National Lampoon Christmas.
Oh,
That's my favorite Christmas movie.
I haven't seen it since I was a kid.
Really?
Yeah, I need to
I love
rewatch it. as
My
an
dad and I
adult.
quote it all the time to each other throughout the year.
Yeah.
Not just Christmas, throughout the year.
Nice. I
So-
need to rewatch that, man.
Yeah, I love that movie. Love it.
My
Rick?
number 5 is It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh, awesome.
Damn it. Okay.
No.
That's my number 4.
That's yeah.
I'll put that at the bottom. I'm going to add it.
Yeah. Delete. Number 4, Home Alone.
Okay.
3 was Nightmare Before Christmas.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2 is Die Hard.
Oh, okay.
Should have known, right?
And number 1 is Jingle All the Way.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it is.
Double jingle all the way. So
It's
we're
a
going to
good
combine
movie.
our
Yes.
lo-fi to
Sure.
what our...
Let's do it.
To what the...
We-
So obviously
I
number
think
1 is...
we can say Jingle All the Way is number 1.
Number 1. You can write it down so you don't get lost.
Jingle All the Way is number 1. Right. Number 2 Where do we have Home Alone at?
I have Home Alone at 3. What do you
I
have?
had it at 2.
4.
Is there any other commonalities we have?
Die Hard.
Oh, Die Hard. What do you have it at?
2.
I have it at 2.
Okay,
Die
so
Hard
Die
is
Hard's
2.
2.
Die Hard's 2. I would say Home Alone is next.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm fixing this. Die Hard was number 2. Home
It
Alone
says
was number 3.
Hard.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fix it, Caleb. Okay,
It says Hard though.
I will fix it.
Yeah,
So
Home
Jingle
Alone.
All the Way, Die Hard, Home Alone, and then whatever y'all's commonalities are after that.
That's where it all ends.
I have National Lampoon Christmas at number 1. What do you have next? Well, what do you have next highest?
Nightmare Before Christmas.
You think my number 1 would beat your 3?
Yeah.
What are the choices?
Well, my number 1 is National Lampoon Christmas,
I'm not sure.
and it's number 3.
Or, yeah.
Christmas.
Okay, so I say we do that number 4.
Number 4 is National Lampoon,
Yeah,
and
right.
then Nightmare at 5.
And there you have it, folks.
Oh,
LoFi's top 5 Christmas list. I thought
Actually-
that was less painful than I thought it was gonna be.
If he put It's a Wonderful Life in there, then A Wonderful Life should be, because it has more commonality.
That would totally be my number 4.
do you want to put that instead?
Sure.
Number 5.
I want to be surrounded by scholars, so I'll definitely put A Wonderful Life over Night Before Christmas.
I like Nightmare Before Christmas, and fuck you. Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
Beautiful musical.
No, it's just
No, f*** you. No, f*** you. Okay? I love it. F*** you.
I'm going to Hot Topic right now. I'm going to buy some merch.
Yeah.
all right. Let's reread it though. Off the top. No,
Not
off
my
the
fault. Those
bottom.
other f***ing little kids destroying it. It's precious
That's
to
what it is,
me.
man. It's too.
Well,
too
I went
mainstream
to the
for me.
theater and I saw it. First day it came out, I loved it. It was great. My parents walked out. I stayed. It was fine.
Number 5.
Number 5.
It's a Wonderful Life.
It's a Wonderful Life.
I'm covering you, Caleb.
This is
Sorry.
your top list. This is the list you need to go
This
by.
is the list.
This
If you
is-
haven't seen any of these, watch
This
them
is
in
the
this order.
nice list. We'll make a top 5 worst.
Yeah.
Number 4, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Yes.
Right?
So good.
Number 3,
Take baseball.
Home Alone,
Classic.
which is really good to watch, and the
Yeah.
movies that made it should go watch it. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Number 2, Die Hard. We're allowing that. We're allowing it.
It's so
Happens at
good.
Christmas
It's a great
time.
fucking movie, man.
Great
It's a
movie.
great movie. It happens around Christmas time.
Mhm.
Nakatomi Tower. Come on, bro.
There's even
Just
a Christmas
like-
song in
Just
it.
like Iron Man
Yep.
3 happens during Christmas.
A little less so though.
Oh yeah, a little less. So.
It's happening. It's just I don't know.
But there's Christmas decorations.
You know it's the same
everywhere.
director.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shane Black sucks.
Yeah. And number 1 on the Lo-Fi Christmas list, Jingle All the Way.
Yeah, man.
Put that cookie down.
No!
That
these
was
cookies
a
are
lot
so
more
good.
painless than I thought it was going to be.
I mean, Jingle All the Way is such a good.
Such a good movie,
Such a
man.
good movie.
I could watch it 100 times.
Mhm.
It's fun.
It's the best.
It's so good.
Like after that, what did Sinbad do?
Huh?
What did Sinbad do after that?
Comedy specials.
Right? That
He's
was
already
it?
doing
I
that.
don't know.
Like that's all he's done though.
Was that before or
right?
after he did
hasn't
like
done-
that Sinbad genie?
Alakazam?
Wasn't he a genie or something?
Yeah, Alakazam.
Was that before or after? What? Doesn't matter. Either way, nothing happened to Sinbad that was that great after that movie.
Pretty much.
Peak of his career.
Peak Sinbad.
I'd say even for that kid. What did he do after that?
Star Wars.
Is that the same kid?
Yeah.
Oh man.
I was like, really?
It's still shit though. Come on. We know those first trilogies are shit now.
Yeah, man.
Well, they're having a comeback.
Just Hayden
There's
Christensen.
prequelists comeback.
We'll
Dude.
We'll see. The
I-
women and the
I
children.
read somewhere, and I didn't check the source, but I read somewhere that there was rumors about fucking Hayden Christensen coming back in the next one.
That's been a rumor
making
for a while.
cameo. Yeah,
Oh yeah, I did see something like that.
I will be fucking upset, dude. I will be upset, and I swear to fucking God, dude, if J.J. Abrams uses that son of a bitch in that fucking movie, that's it for him, dude. I'm done. I'm
But
done with
not as
J.J.
a Force Ghost?
No, dude. I don't want him anywhere near that f***ing film, dude. That guy is cancer when it comes to him being on screen. He's terrible, dude. That guy can't act for shit. I hope he gets ass cancer.
Okay.
All right.
Intense. Did you hear
He's
that?
so bad. He ruined the prequels, dude.
I don't think it was all his fault.
His fucking acting is what made that character stupid.
I think it was George Lucas's direction.
I don't
say
think
it's
so,
both.
man.
I say they're both
You take
terrible.
those
Both.
lines, you take those lines and you put them in someone else's mouth and someone else's acting ability who can actually act, and Anakin Skywalker is amazing.
I don't disagree, but I think it's both. I think George Lucas ruined it.
They're both
Okay,
terrible.
name me a good Hayden Christensen movie.
Takers. That's what it's called. I don't know.
Oh, dude! Okay, speaking of people we don't like or whatever, I don't like Robert Pattinson, but I really liked him in The King.
Who?
Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, man, Robert Pattinson's not bad.
He's in
His
there?
accent? Yeah, like...
Dude!
Yeah.
He's good, I'm telling you.
Dude,
I liked him in that movie,
He
man.
plays the French prince. Dude.
Just like
my
this
God,
asshole
he's
prince.
So fucking good.
He's
dude.
so funny, man.
So good.
His accent, like the way he carries himself.
I mean,
like,
okay, why don't you like him? Is
just
it
the
because he
stigma.
was?
Really
Is it
sad.
because he
It
was a
the stigma
heartthrob?
that he was a stupid vampire.
The heartthrob?
It's the stigma
He's
of
not even a
of the
heartthrob.
Twilight.
He doesn't even look good.
It's okay.
It's the Twilight thing. You
okay.
came to the Twilight.
Like,
thing.
He
It's
can't
not-
hurt you.
Well, I mean,
He can't hurt
I
you.
saw him in the movie. I was like, this is shit. This actor shit. This movie shit. This writing shit. This book is shit. Like, this is all crap.
Everything I agree.
Everything is terrible.
But him, past
Christian Stewart, the whole movie was shit.
I don't disagree with that. But everything
We have to
past,
bleep out all of this.
past that movie, he's good, man.
Okay.
He's good.
Well, I saw this movie and I was like, you know what? I might come around to him. I don't know if I
good
can
in
see him as a
Harry
Batman yet.
Yeah, he's good in Harry
He's
Potter.
good in Harry Potter,
I mean, he
Cedric
barely had any
Diggory.
lines.
but he was still
He
good.
was so good.
He's
He was
alright.
great.
You don't have to have much screen time to be good
by
on
that,
screen.
By that measure, I could
Look
be
at
in there
Hans
and I could be
Gruber.
good. All I do is save people and then choke at the end or something. Don't I die?
I don't think. I think he can do it better than you can. I'm just
He
saying.
did a lot of things, actually.
Maybe you're right. Who knows?
He helped Harry.
Yeah.
He saved someone underwater.
It's true.
He was in the maze.
That's right. I could save someone if I had gills. Or would he have a tail? I
I don't
forget.
think he
I don't
was,
think you can pull it off, dude.
You watch!
I don't think you
I'm
can
gonna do it better!
I don't think you
I'm
can do
gonna
it.
be a sparkly vampire
I
better.
mean, I'm just saying. Okay, that you could probably do better. That I'll give you.
Okay.
Okay, because that was pretty bad. But I'm just saying he's gotten better.
That was good.
not
I enjoyed him in this movie. Should check it out.
Yeah.
Definitely gonna check
Go
that
watch
movie
The King
out. We'll watch the movie. And Marriage Story.
and Marriage Story
We'll
and
watch
Klaus. I hear Klaus is pretty good too.
I'm good, Klaus.
Watch
the
Klaus.
cartoon?
It's the Christmas cartoon on Netflix.
Have you seen it?
No,
Literally,
but
Why are
it
you telling
was
people to watch it then?
because I was.
Wow.
What if
Because
someone
I saw
watches
the
it? It
trailer-
sucks.
I saw the trailer and I
That's
liked
your
it.
rep, dude. All right.
saw
And
the
they
trailer.
never
You
come
know
back to our
what?
channel because
I'm
they're
pushing
like,
back here.
I saw Klaus and I
Wow.
didn't like it.
Wow.
I'm gonna come back. We're gonna come
watch
back
it now.
and we're gonna
And I'm gonna
have
give my
we're gonna have
great
some
opinion
fun
on it. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
we will.
Wait, why did you suggest it?
Because
He heard it was good.
Chris told me it was really good, and he told me the type of humor, and he told me all these things. I was like, this sounds like a really good thing. I'm
I
gonna
don't
check it
trust
out.
Chris. I'm trusting.
All right, guys, we're gonna cut off there. Go watch this episode later. Like it.
And I guess watch Klaus.
Yeah,
I guess just
the
watch
greatest Netflix movie.
And then go
Though
watch
it wasn't on his
the
list,
first Star Wars
so I mean, I don't
trilogy.
know.
It's the greatest.
That'd be
Star Wars
great if it was
trilogy.
on the list.
Okay, guys, we're gonna close it out. We'll see y'all later. Thanks for coming by. We'll see y'all next time. Goodbye.
Bye.